Madden 27 is finally here, and if you're playing on PC, there's a good chance you've already noticed something weird. You can have high FPS and the game still feels terrible. Stutters, frame drops, inconsistent input, the weird situation where your FPS counter says 150 or 200, but Madden somehow doesn't feel anywhere near that smooth. But here's the thing, after testing different configurations, uncapped FPS can actually feel smoother in Madden 27. So in this video, I'm going to show you the settings I'm using to get the highest FPS possible while keeping the game feeling smooth and responsive. No 30 random window tweaks, no fake double your FPS tricks, just the settings that actually matter. Let's get into it. Try uncapped FPS first. The first setting I want you to change is your FPS limit. And unlike a lot of PC optimization guides, I'm not telling you to automatically cap your FPS. Start with FPS uncap. For my setup, uncapping Madden actually made the game feel noticeably smoother. The important thing here is that your PC needs enough performance headroom to support it. If you're running uncapped and your GPU is constantly maxed out, you're getting huge frame time spikes, or your FPS is bouncing all over the place, then cap may work better for your system. But don't assume a cap is automatically smoother. Test uncapped first. And don't just look at the biggest FPS number, watch the frame time graph. Play an actual game, move around the field, run plays, watch for drops and hitching. If uncapped gives you smoother frame delivery and more responsive input on your system, keep it uncapped. That's exactly what happened in my testing. Turn down these expensive settings. Now let's reduce the settings that actually hammer your GPU. Start with shadows, medium, lighting, medium, ambient occlusion, you can turn that off, crowd, medium, motion blur, off, bloom, off, lens flare, off, and if Madden gives you ray tracing option, which it does, turn off ray tracing. Now watch what happens to GPU utilization. You're creating performance headroom, and the headroom matters because Madden isn't going to have the exact same GPU workload every second. Replays, large stadium scenes, lighting changes, crowd scenes, busy plays, those can all create heavier workloads. The goal is to make sure your GPU has enough room to handle those moments. Not just huge average FPS number, consistent performance. And if those two changes already made Madden feel better, don't leave yet because we're going much deeper. I'm going through the complete Madden 27 PC setup, Windows, NVIDIA, G-Sync, VSync, textures, grass, crowd, shader cache, latency settings, and I'm separating the settings that actually matter from the PC optimization myths that just waste your time. So subscribe if you want this setup updated as Madden gets new patches and GPU drivers. Now let's finish the optimization. Use your native resolution. First, don't immediately lower your resolution just because you want more FPS. If you're using a 1440p monitor, 2560 by 1440p, use that. If you're using a 4K monitor like myself, 3840 by 2160, start native. Then optimize your graphic settings around your target performance. If you're heavily GPU limited, resolution is obviously one of the biggest performance levers, but don't destroy your image quality before lowering the settings that are actually expensive. Texture quality. Textures are a little different. They can use a lot of VRAM without necessarily destroying your GPU performance in the same way shadows or lighting can. So if your GPU has enough VRAM, turn texture quality on. Then test it. If you start seeing VRAM pressure, hitching, or inconsistent performance, turn it off. Don't use Ultra just because it's the highest setting. Use the highest setting your PC can run consistently. Motion blur. This one is easy. Motion blur, turn it off. You're playing football, you need to see what's happening. Motion blur isn't helping you read coverage, it isn't helping you track the ball, and it isn't helping you see your receiver's route. Turn it off. Shadows. Now we're getting into the biggest performance settings. start with shadow quality at medium. If you have a powerful GPU and plenty of performance headroom, try high, but don't automatically jump to ultra. The difference between medium and ultra can be much harder to notice during actual gameplay than it is when you are staring at a screenshot. For a performance-focused setup, medium is the starting point. Lighting, same philosophy with lighting, start at medium. If your GPU is comfortably handling your uncapped FPS, try high. If you're getting major drops during demanding scenes, lower it. We're trying to improve your frame time consistency, not win a screenshot competition. Next, crowd quality, turn this to medium. This is an easy place to save performance. You're watching the quarterback, the defense, the receivers, the ball. You're not watching the guy in row 42 eating a virtual hot dog. So lower the crowd quality and give your GPU more room for the actual game. Grass and mesh. For 3D grass, turn it on. Start with mesh quality at high. If you're struggling for FPS, try lowering mesh before destroying your entire graphics preset. And if you're comfortably above your desired performance, test ultra. The goal isn't to make everything low. The goal is to find the highest visual quality that your PC can run consistently. VSync plus VRR. Now let's talk about VSync. This is where PC players get confused. If you're using G-Sync or FreeSync, VRR, which is on, then test Madden uncapped first, because in my testing, uncapped FPS produced a smoother experience, but your results can be different depending on your monitor, GPU drivers, and the way Madden is behaving on your system. If you're getting tearing or inconsistent frame delivery, test an FPS cap below your monitor's maximum refresh rate. For example, 144Hz monitor, try 141 FPS cap. 165Hz monitor, try 162. 240Hz monitor, try 237 FPS cap. But don't treat those numbers as mandatory. Uncapped is the first thing I would test. Your goal is no distracting tearing, stable frame delivery, and responsive input. Whichever configuration gives you that on your PC is the one you should use. NVIDIA Control Panel. If you're using NVIDIA, open NVIDIA Control Panel, manage 3D settings, program settings, Madden 27, start with power management mode, prefer maximum performance, shader cast size, unlimited. For low latency mode, start with on and test it. Don't blindly stack every setting you see online. If a setting doesn't improve your actual gameplay, frame times, or responsiveness, there's no reason to keep it enabled just because someone called it a pro setting test. Compare, keep what works. Windows game mode. Now let's leave Madden for a second. Search Windows for game mode, turn it on. This isn't going to magically double your FPS, but it can help Windows prioritize gaming activity and reduce unnecessary background interference. It's a simple setting without having enabled. HAGS, which is a short form for Hardware Accelerated GPU Scheduling. Start with on, but test it. If Madden is running perfectly, keep it. If you're still getting weird frame time spikes, try turning it off. There isn't one magic Windows setting that works perfectly on every PC. Your hardware matters, your driver matters, your Windows version matters, and Madden's patches matter. So test instead of blindly copying somebody else's configuration. Update your GPU driver. And this one is simple. Before blaming Madden, update your GPU driver. NVIDIA, get the current game ready driver. AMD, update Adrenaline. Intel, update your graphic driver. And remember, after major game update or driver update, performance can change. Shader, compilation, and caching can also affect your first few minutes of gameplay. So don't immediately judge your entire setup after loading into the game for 30 seconds. Play, test, then compare. The settings I'd start with. So here's the quick version. Display, resolution native, FPS cap uncapped, VRR on, VSync off, graphics, textures on high, shadows medium, lighting medium, ambient occlusion low to medium, crowd medium, mesh high, grass on, motion blur off, bloom off, lens flare off, ray tracing off. Then increase settings one at a time if your PC has enough headroom. And most importantly, test uncapped before assuming you need an FPS limit. The most important test, and here's what I want you to do before calling your setup optimized. Don't just stare at the FPS counter, actually play Madden. Run the same type of situations, pay attention to average FPS, 1% lows, frame time consistency, GPU utilization, VRAM usage, and most importantly how the game feels. Because this is what I learned testing Madden. A lower capped FPS isn't automatically smoother, and a higher uncapped FPS isn't automatically smoother either. It depends on what your PC is actually doing. For my setup, uncapped FPS gave me the smoother experience, so that's where I'm starting. If uncapped feels better for you, leave it uncapped. If a cap gives you smoother frame time, use the cap. Don't optimize for somebody else's PC, optimize for yours. And that's your Madden 27 PC performance setup. But we're not done. Madden is going to get patches, GPU drivers are going to change, Windows updates are going to happen, and performance can change over time. That's why I'm going to keep testing this. FPS, frame times, input latency, new drivers, new patches, NVIDIA, high-end PCs, budget PCs. So if you're serious about getting Madden 27 running as smoothly as possible, subscribe and stick around. And if uncapped FPS made Madden smoother for you too, drop a like and let me know in the comments, because that's exactly what happened on my system. Now get back into Madden. Maximum FPS, smooth gameplay, no excuses. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great day.